The last 2K I played was 2K21. I'd probably still be playing it if the servers hadn't shut down and my player went away. I never really liked the stories that went along with 2K games, and I certainly didn't need the doctor from Grey's Anatomy yelling at me. Despite that, playing in college was fun, and scanning my own face into the game was nice. I didn't really like the way it looked, but it was a cool feature. I hadn't played 2K for quite a while when I decided to buy a copy of NBA 2K26. I was looking forward to scanning my face into the game and hoping that it might look a little better than it did last time. It looks a little bit better, but it still doesn't look right. The NBA 2K26 My Career Story has us following MP, a senior at Maplewood High School in Vermont. MP's father owns the local diner, at which we learn that MP has a big game tonight against Burlington Prep. It is implied that Maplewood got destroyed by Prep last year. MP points out that he is a lot better this time, and he had a growth spurt over the summer. When we start the game, we meet Colby Starks, the best high school player in Vermont, who is ranked number 244 on the 2KU 250. MP is unranked. It's implied that MP is going to Central Valley next year. I was unable to find any real-life Central Valley College in Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, Massachusetts, or New York. The only one seems to be a community college in California. The school must be fictional. It would make no sense for a kid to travel across the country for a community college. It is also implied that MP has a scout from Boston College coming to the game. During MP and Colby's conversation, we learn that Colby is committed to Princeton. It is also implied that Colby has some NBA aspirations. Players have made it to the NBA from Ivy League schools. Jeremy Lin comes to mind, but they do not offer athletic scholarships and are insanely expensive. They don't seem like the first choice of a one-and-done type. After we outplay Colby Starks and win the game, we discover that the scout from Boston College never showed up. He decided to go to a tournament in New York at the last minute. This leads MP to decide that he needs to be where the best competition is, out in LA. The problem with that is he is going to have to pay his own way to do that. His parents, as any responsible parents would be, are against that. That sends MP into a bit of a temper tantrum. Luckily, he is invited out to LA by Dion Benjamin, a legendary NBA skills trainer, to participate in an open run where coaches for the West Coast Basketball League will be in attendance. MP still has to pay his own way though. Our first task is to outperform Nick Hunter, number 219 on the 2KU 250. Once we've done that, Coach Troy, from the High Flyers, and Coach Weber, from Union Elite will both definitely want us on their team. Once we choose our team, we have to play 4 games against increasingly higher-ranked stars on each team. We need to win and outperform each one to advance. If we can do that, we may get a chance to play in the WCBL All-Star Game. This is where all the important scouts will be watching. In reality, we only get to play 3 games because we are late to one and get disciplined. I would love to rant about that, but that is not why I want to fire my agent, so I will just leave it alone, but making the suspension impossible to avoid is really irritating. Now that the premise of the story has been established, here is why I want to fire my agent. According to everyone we encounter, our player arrived on the scene too late and is miles behind everyone else. We can infer that the reason for that is because our player is 5 feet 10 inches 160 pounds, and looks like every other kid on the Maplewood Snowy Owls. Also, even though our player does have some talent, he is clearly not on the level of a lottery pick. He may be a late second round pick if he is drafted at all. So, our parents are right to oppose us going out to LA, but every 18-year-old thinks they can beat the odds. I'm not surprised that our parents eventually cave in and pay for us to go. The reason I want to fire my agent is because, after completing the WCBL, our agent advises MP that the best move is to skip college and play in Europe. If a player is not academically suited for college, or simply doesn't want to deal with going to class every day, that's a viable option. MP makes no indication that he doesn't want to go to college. He pushes back at Austin Kelly for making the suggestion, and considers firing him, which he absolutely should. Here's why. First, it's great that someone is willing to pay MP to play basketball. It would also be a great experience at 18 to have the opportunity to go to Paris or Madrid, travel all over Europe for a year while you're young, and MP may play very well. But let's just say MP does get drafted. Go to basketballreference.com if you don't believe this. Who am I kidding? You're not going to do that. So, I went to basketballreference.com for you. The 2015 NBA draft class just finished its 10th season in the league. Enough time to make an evaluation on their careers. 16 draft classes consisting of a total of 949 players have entered the league between the year 2000 and 2015. Of those 949 players, 141, or 15%, never appeared in a regular season game. Another 199, or 21%, appeared in 82 regular season games or less. 140, or 15% of players appeared in between 83 and 246 games. I didn't choose those benchmarks arbitrarily. 247 games is 75% of the 328 games that your draft class would have been eligible to appear in after 4 NBA seasons. Note, I am not accounting for how many seasons a player appeared in, but actual regular season games, because a player could appear in 4 NBA seasons, yet appear in 82 games or less, which would speak volumes to his ability and value as a player. So, 480 or 51% of the best amateur basketball players, in not just the United States, but the entire world, over the course of 16 seasons, had careers that amounted to less than 4 full NBA seasons, and 340, or 71% of those, appeared in 82 games or less. 154, or 16%, appeared in between 247 and 499 games, and the biggest group, 275, or 29% of the players drafted between the years 2000 and 2015, appeared in between 500 and 999 games. These are the guys who made it. These are professional basketball players. These are the guys you dream about being. The smallest group by far is where the Hall of Famers live. Only 40, or 4% of the players drafted between the year 2000 and 2015 played more than 1,000 games. There could be a variety of reasons why a player might not make it in the NBA that are not related to ability, injury being the most common. The point I'm trying to get across here is even if you manage to get drafted, it's a coin flip between living out your dreams of NBA stardom and dragging yourself back to Vermont to work in your dad's restaurant. And if you choose the overseas basketball option, you will have a great experience that most 18-year-olds don't get. But you threw away your chance for a free education and will eventually have to put yourself into crippling student debt. No thanks 2K, that's where I'm going to stop you. Please, stop pushing this you can grind your way to the league nonsense. If you have the body and the talent to be a legitimate NBA player, they will spare no expense to find you and bring a dump truck full of money with them. If you have to grind, there's at least a 51% chance, closer to a 99.9% chance, you're not good enough, and should go get your free education, and get a real job. I'll give you a quote from former Dallas Cowboys coach, and Pro Football Hall of Famer, Jimmy Johnson, that illustrates the real pecking order of players. If Curvin Richards falls asleep in a meeting, he gets cut the next day. If Emmitt Smith falls asleep in a meeting, I give him an elbow to wake him up. If Troy Aikman falls asleep in a meeting, I go get him a blanket, and make sure he's comfortable. All my players are equal, some are just more equal than others. I don't expect many of you to know who Curvin Richards is. Even if you aren't a football fan, you know who Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman are. Most of us are Curvin Richards. I know everybody thinks that they can be the guy that beats the odds if you just work hard enough. If you just believe. But think about it for a second. The highest ranked player we encounter in this game is 68th on a list of the 250 best high school players, in only the United States. That's not even accounting for international players, college players, or NBA G League players. Colby Starks, who was going to Princeton, and insanely expensive, almost impossible to get accepted into school that doesn't offer athletic scholarships, is 6 spots from the bottom of that list. Our player is unranked. Also, the 2 major colleges within a 30-minute flight of where we live. Boston College and Syracuse. Can't be bothered to show up at our game. We aren't even being recruited by the University of Vermont. If our player could legitimately play in the NBA the year after next, Vermont, Boston College, Syracuse, Duke, North Carolina, Kansas, Kentucky, Arizona, UCLA, Indiana, and Michigan would all have their head coach in our tiny little Snowy Owl gym. Austin Kelly should be fired on the spot for giving brain-dead advice to someone of our player's caliber. If we were ranked 23rd on the 2KU 250, like the guy we were supposed to play against in the game we got suspended from, then going to Europe might make sense. Go to France and enjoy it until we turn 19, come back, and take our chances in the NBA. We're ranked well below 200, and a couple of months earlier, no one had ever heard of us. It's nice that someone would pay us to play basketball, and I'm sure getting to see Europe would be cool, but as a means of getting to the NBA, that's silly for a player at our level. I'm just saying that I personally, if the opportunity were available in the game, would fire my agent for recommending something so completely insane. I will make one exception. If MP is going to Europe to stay 4 years, learn to be a professional. Learn how to train, how to eat, how to watch film, and play against grown men, all while getting paid a lot more money than he would get in college. Come back as a 22-year-old who is polished, seasoned, and knows how to deal with the media, hostile crowds, a professional schedule and atmosphere, and come back speaking a second language. Then it might not be such a horrible idea. Pulling something like that off is going to depend greatly on the personality of the player. Does he really want to learn and get better, or is he just looking for the quickest road to the NBA, and doesn't want to deal with college? I doubt Austin Kelly knows MP well enough after a few weeks to make a judgment on that. In fact, why is MP even thinking about the NBA at this point? The NBA is only going to draft 60 players, and half of those guys aren't going to make it. Only the top 10, maybe 20, on the 2KU 250 should be thinking about being a college one and done, or going to Europe. 21 through 100 should have their mind on major college basketball. The NBA still drafts college players who stay more than 1 year. 101 through 175 or so, those guys go to Texas Tech, NC State, Northwestern, and Vanderbilt. Schools in big conferences, but mid-level in those conferences. 175 on down. Those guys go to the Ivy League schools, like Colby Starks. Or they go to schools like Akron, Louisiana Tech, Coastal Carolina, Fordham, and the University of Vermont. Come on 2K, if we are simulating trying to get to the NBA, at least start us out in a position where we could actually do it. The story won't let me fire Austin Kelly, so I will go along with it and see how it goes. Thanks for watching.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy MP. Welcome to the first episode of Out of Bounds, the new web series offering exclusive access to all things MP as I start the next chapter of my basketball journey in Bonita, España. Sick apartment, right?